on a pale blue dot suspended in the vast cosmic ocean. We exist, a grain of dust illuminated by an ordinary star, our home, our responsibility. This is how Carl Sagan introduced us to our true place in the universe, not as its masters, but as its curious children. For him, science was never merely a cold method of investigation, but a profound form of reverence, a path back to childlike wonder before the pulsating mystery of existence. Understanding is a joy, for it is to touch the mystery. Brooklyn, New York, 1934. A boy with curious eyes browses books about stars and planets in the public library. Carl Edward Sagan, son of Ukrainian immigrants, was beginning his cosmic journey there. In the simplicity of urban daily life, he saw the grandest questions. What are stars? Is there life on other worlds? Why do we exist? While other adults dismissed these inquiries as childish fantasies, his parents nurtured them with books and visits to the American Museum of Natural History. Sagan always fondly remembered the moment he received his first telescope. The instrument not only brought the planets closer to his eyes, but also connected his heart to the immensity of the universe, a love that would last his entire life. During his education, he realized that true science wasn't in cold calculations or complex formulas, but in the ability to keep the flame of childlike curiosity alive amid methodological rigor. And you, what do you feel when you look at the starry sky and realize that you are part of this vastness? Science is not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality. This understanding of Sagan's revolutionized the way we understand scientific pursuit. For him, observing the cosmos wasn't an act of distancing, but of profound intimacy with mystery. When we look at the stars, we're not contemplating something foreign to us, but the very elements that compose us. Young Carl learned early that skepticism wasn't the enemy of enchantment. On the contrary, questioning and doubting were ways of preserving the purity of admiration. Free from superstitions and dogmas, we could finally surrender to true awe before the cosmos. Extraordinary skepticism must be applied to extraordinary claims, they said, arguing that critical thinking was precisely what protected us from losing the capacity for genuine wonder. In the trajectory of that boy who gazed at the stars from Brooklyn, we find an invitation to rediscover our own primordial curiosity. Sagan teaches us that growing up doesn't mean abandoning the great questions of childhood, but deepening them with the tools of reason, without losing the sensitivity of the heart that asks, "And you?" Which questions from your childhood about the world and the universe still echo in your adult mind? Carl Sagan's true genius lay not only in his ability to comprehend the cosmos, but in his singular skill at translating it into common language. He realized that the treasures of science shouldn't remain locked in academic ivory towers, but belong to all humanity. This understanding transformed him into the greatest scientific communicator of his time. In 1980, when the series Cosmos was broadcast to more than 500 million people in 60 countries, Sagan wasn't simply teaching astronomy. He was inviting humanity on a journey of self-discovery. Through the ship of the imagination, he took us from the confines of the universe to the interior of atoms, showing that these apparently distant scales were, in fact, chapters of the same story, our story. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be discovered. With this promise, Sagan transformed abstract concepts into engaging stories. He spoke about black holes and supernovas with the same intimacy with which he would talk about old friends. For him, scientific knowledge was never an end in itself. but a means to awaken what is most human in us, the capacity for wonder. Sagan understood that true scientific communication wasn't about simplifying concepts to the point of banality, but about respecting the audience's intelligence while making knowledge accessible. Don't oversimplify, just make the complex comprehensible, was his unspoken motto. In his presentations, he never underestimated the common public's capacity to understand profound ideas. With luminous metaphors and precise analogies, he built bridges between specialized knowledge and everyday experience. When he explained the vastness of cosmic time by compressing the history of the universe into a single calendar year. With humans appearing only in the last minutes of December 31st, he wasn't just transmitting information, he was provoking a transformation of perspective. His communication ability transcended mere transmission of facts. It was an act of profound intellectual empathy. Sagan knew that we all carry within us the same fundamental curiosity about our place in the cosmos. His legacy as a communicator reminds us that shared knowledge is humanity's greatest treasure, and that each scientific concept understood is a window that opens to the universe. And you? When was the last time you felt that explosion of understanding, that aha, that illuminates your mind when you finally grasp something complex about the world? Observing Earth from space, Carl Sagan saw something that many had lost sight of: the fundamental unity of all life on our planet. The famous pale blue dot photograph, captured by the Voyager 1 probe in 1990 at Sagan's request, became a powerful symbol of this perception. A look again at that dot. That's here, that's home, that's us. In these words, we find not just poetry, but a profound humanist philosophy. For Sagan, science was never an endeavor isolated from ethical and social questions. On the contrary, he believed that scientific knowledge imposed an even greater moral responsibility upon us. Understanding our position in the cosmos meant understanding our interdependence and shared fragility. Living during the height of the Cold War, Sagan became a tireless advocate for nuclear disarmament, warning about the nuclear winter that could result from an atomic conflict. Sagan's humanism wasn't an abstract philosophical position, but a direct consequence of his scientific understanding of the world. By studying other planets like Venus, with its superheated atmosphere caused by a runaway greenhouse effect, he was among the first scientists to warn about climate change on Earth. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. His planetary vision transcended national, racial, and cultural boundaries. He understood that human divisions, when viewed from a cosmic perspective, revealed themselves as arbitrary constructs on the surface of a tiny planet. For him, humanity's future depended on our ability to overcome these divisions and recognize our common planetary citizenship. Sagan's hope resided in education and critical thinking. He believed that a scientifically literate society would be more capable of facing its challenges with wisdom and compassion. Science is a candle in the dark, he said, illuminating not just the physical mysteries of the universe, but also the path to a more ethical and sustainable human existence. In Sagan's humanist vision, our destiny as a species is intrinsically tied to our capacity to care for each other and for our fragile cosmic home. This understanding doesn't diminish our importance, but amplifies our responsibility. We are the conscious guardians of a precious oasis of life in the vast cosmic desert. And you? How has the understanding of our cosmic smallness changed your perception of human conflicts and divisions? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. This maxim, which became one of the pillars of modern scientific thought, reveals a fundamental aspect of Carl Sagan's philosophy, his methodological skepticism. However, unlike many skeptics who pride themselves on a stance of cold rationality, Sagan's skepticism was deeply compassionate and understanding. He understood that myths, superstitions, and unfounded beliefs don't arise from a vacuum or mere ignorance, but from genuine human needs, our search for meaning, our desire for control in an often chaotic universe, our hope for transcendence in the face of finitude. Sagan didn't ridicule these needs. He recognized them as intrinsically human. Science doesn't immunize us against madness, but it is an essential antidote. For Sagan, critical thinking wasn't a weapon to demolish beliefs, but a tool to liberate minds. His book, The Demon-Haunted World, sensitively explores the terrain between credulity and skepticism, showing how the scientific method can satisfy our deepest needs without sacrificing our commitment to truth. When addressing controversial topics like UFOs or paranormal experiences, Sagan never began with disdain, but with genuine curiosity. He investigated each claim seriously, always maintaining a willingness to be surprised by convincing evidence. His skepticism wasn't a refusal to believe, but a discipline to believe based on evidence, proportional to the claims. What made his approach truly compassionate was his understanding that in a universe as vast and mysterious as ours, epistemological humility is an essential virtue. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known, he said, reminding us that healthy skepticism should be accompanied by an open mind for the genuine wonders that the universe still holds for us. Sagan taught us that critical thinking isn't the enemy of enchantment with the world. On the contrary, it's its greatest ally. By freeing ourselves from illusions, we become available for true awe before the cosmos as it really is. The universe revealed by science, with its black holes, supernova explosions, and billions of galaxies, is infinitely more wonderful than any human mythology could invent. Sagan's compassionate skepticism is perhaps his most urgent lesson for our times of polarization and misinformation. We can question ideas without disrespecting people, and we can seek truth rigorously without losing our humanity in the process. And you? How do you balance in your life the need for critical thinking with openness to mystery and the unknown? We are star stuff. This powerful metaphor, popularized by Carl Sagan, isn't just a poetic expression, but a literal scientific truth that revolutionizes our self-understanding. The atoms of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and all the heavy elements that make up our bodies were forged in the heart of stars that exploded billions of years before our existence. And the cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. This understanding radically transforms the narrative about our cosmic identity. We aren't strangers observing the universe from outside. We are the universe itself becoming conscious, looking at itself with wonder and curiosity. The Cartesian division between observer and observed dissolves into a deeper and more unified understanding of reality. Sagan frequently spoke about this extraordinary connection. The same physical processes that created galaxies and nebulae also, through billions of years of evolution, produced beings capable of contemplating and understanding their own origin. This perspective offers us a spirituality based not on dogmas or supernatural revelations, but on the scientific understanding of our real cosmic nature. For him, this understanding didn't diminish the mystery of existence. On the contrary, it deepened it. How did unconscious atoms organize themselves into progressively more complex structures until they produced consciousness and self-awareness? Why did the universe evolve in a way that generated beings capable of understanding the laws that govern it? These questions, for Sagan, were as profound as any traditional religious mystery. From this understanding emerges a cosmic ethic. If we are the universe becoming conscious of itself, then we have a special responsibility. We are the local ambassadors of an expanding cosmos, Sagan said, suggesting that perhaps our highest function is to preserve and expand this cosmic consciousness, both through exploration of the external universe and through understanding our inner universe. It's no coincidence that Sagan's intellectual journey united astronomy, biology, neuroscience, and philosophy. He perceived that to truly understand our place in the cosmos, we would need to integrate all these fields of knowledge into a unified vision. The same gravitational force that shapes galaxies also shaped our bodies, and the same laws of physics that govern stars also govern our cells. We are, literally, the universe contemplating itself. Stardust that, through a process of complexification over 13.8 billion years, gained eyes to see, a mind to understand, and a heart to feel. And you? How does this understanding that your atoms were forged in ancient stars change your perception of who you really are? On December 20th, 1996, at the age of 62, Carl Sagan departed from this pale blue dot he so loved. But like the stars he studied throughout his life, his influence continues to shine long after his physical disappearance. To make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. This humorous phrase reveals the essence of his legacy, the ability to connect the everyday with the cosmic, to see the extraordinary in the apparently ordinary. Sagan's legacy goes far beyond his specific scientific discoveries. He fundamentally changed how society relates to science. Before him, science communication was often seen as a secondary activity, almost a distraction from real science. Sagan proved that communicating science to the public wasn't just important. It was essential for humanity's future. His influence is evident in the current generation of science communicators and in the proliferation of science content that now flourishes in all media. But perhaps his deepest impact lies in how he integrated science and humanism, reason and emotion, knowledge and ethics. Sagan demonstrated that scientific rigor not only coexists with human compassion, one truly nourishes the other. In times of polarization, when science is often politicized and contested, Sagan's approach offers a conciliatory path. He taught us that science isn't a dogmatic body of established facts, but a method of inquiry, a way of thinking based on evidence, experimentation, and openness to new discoveries. Science is more than a body of knowledge. It is a way of thinking, he said. This perspective recognizes scientific knowledge as something always provisional, always open to revision in light of new evidence, not out of weakness, but from the intrinsic strength of the method. Perhaps the most enduring aspect of Sagan's legacy is his vision of cosmic hope. In an era of cynicism, he offered us a perspective that unites scientific realism with profound optimism about human possibilities. For me, it is far better to grasp the universe as it really is than to persist in delusion, however satisfying and reassuring. At this moment in history, when we face existential challenges from the climate crisis to the threat of nuclear war, Sagan's perspective has never been more necessary. He showed us that the same science that reveals the dangers we face also offers us the tools to overcome them if we have the wisdom to use them correctly. In the vastness of the cosmos, we are small, but in our capacity to understand and contemplate that vastness, we are immensely large. And you? What kind of legacy do you hope to leave on this pale blue dot that we share?